Zyn might just be the addiction of the future. These small pouches of nicotine, flavorings, and filler are sweeping across the world.
But it's there, just around the corner, and it keeps you going.
With everyone from the biggest celebrities to random people promoting them online. The advantages seem endless to smokers. They're far less harmful than tobacco, easily concealed, and they don't make any smoke or vapor. With big tobacco monopolizing the market and ramping up production, it doesn't look like there's any way to stop this new addiction taking root. So let's explore how Zyn is taking over the world by storm, and what the sinister consequences of this could be. As when you start peeling back the truth, you realize how dangerous this might be. The rise of Zyn in Sweden would create the template for a global campaign of addiction. But first, we need to understand where they came from in the first place. Despite the fact that they seemingly appeared out of nowhere, Zyn and other nicotine pouches aren't exactly a new thing. It has its roots in a tobacco product called snus, which has been consumed around the world for hundreds of years. Its spiritual home though is in Sweden, where centuries of tradition has seen it outcompete smoking tobacco as the most popular method of consumption. Back in the day, people would take a small pinch of this specially made powdered tobacco and keep it under their lips as it slowly released nicotine. Beginning in the 1970s, manufacturers like Swedish Match took control of the market by offering the tobacco portioned into a small sachet, each with a controlled dose of the drug. A few decades later, when the technology to extract pure nicotine from tobacco was perfected, the entire industry was thrown on its head. By 2006, the first vapes had entered the US, and it wasn't long before they were everywhere. A few years later, and you can't walk 10 feet without seeing someone hit the device or smelling the sickly sweet clouds drifting by. With their apparent health benefits compared to tobacco, it wouldn't have been a big leap to expect
Vape? Hey, what flavor, man?
In Sweden, it's been a different story. Through pervasive anti-smoking campaigns, as well as a cultural appetite for other methods, the country almost eliminated tobacco and other nicotine products from their country. Strong laws against marketing the products kept big tobacco from fighting back. People hoped that as the other ways to consume it slowly died out, that Sweden would become the first country to actually kill the nicotine habit for good. That was until Swedish Match found their ideal product. As the largest Swedish tobacco company, a nicotine-free Sweden would almost certainly mean an end to their business. So when so-called white snus came along, it was a godsend for them. By taking that pure nicotine and replacing the tobacco with it, they could make a seemingly harmless alternative that could take the market by storm. These new products launched in 2016, and Swedish Match were quick to take advantage. While laws prohibited marketing tobacco products and vapes, white snus seemed to be free of these restrictions. Now, marketing has always been an easy game for tobacco companies. Other companies whose products aren't chemically addictive have to constantly prove their worth to the consumer. Each person who convinces is likely to become a lifelong customer whether they like it or not, staking out places where young people would gather. That can mean at conventions, festivals, or even more disturbingly, outside playgrounds. And the results were quick. With the marketing beginning in 2017, it only took 3 years for the use of snus to overtake smoking in young people. And everyone has the image of smoking with cancer. Whereas products like Zyn are almost invisible on the other hand, meaning kids can indulge in their new habits all day without having to sneak off to the bathrooms every half hour. So when white snus spread across Sweden like a wildfire, they noticed. And who better to step in than the masters of addiction themselves, the largest tobacco company in the world, Philip Morris. In late 2022, they bought out Swedish Match in their entirety for an eye-watering $16 billion. But the only thing they were really interested in was Zyn. And this deal might end up being one of the most lucrative deals ever made. If Zyn and other nicotine pouches keep growing as fast as they are, they'll replace vaping and eventually cigarettes. You see, Philip Morris could see that cigarettes and vaping were becoming outdated. Nobody in Gen Z really wanted to do this stuff anymore. There were so many regulations, you couldn't advertise properly, all the reporting on the health consequences, the popcorn lungs, the lung cancer, they needed something to pivot fast with. But what's making them so much more popular than vaping or smoking? Old-fashioned snus and other products with actual tobacco in them cause cancer. They're terrible for your health. But as far as we know, Zyn doesn't do this. In a perfect world, Zyn could save a ton of lives by helping people quit smoking. But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. It's almost similar to caffeine, which is also an incredibly addictive drug. Kids taking these things to get a buzz quickly have to take stronger pouches, and it's really working.